and it's 6 p.m. UK time. Welcome to the Spiritual Discussion Program. I'm Saad in Southeast London, and with me as usual is Gregory. Gregory, how are you and how is the weather where you are?
All is fine, and the weather is very, very warm.
Good. Same for UK here in London. It's been sunny, bright, warm, as you say, uh, and enjoyable. Dear listeners, welcome to this show, the Spiritual Discussion Program. The aim of the show is to introduce you to the spiritual knowledge in the light of truth, the Grail message by Abrushin. And every week we have a new topic for discussion. And the topic for tonight is human nature and behavior. Human nature and behavior. You are welcome to join us with any questions or comments by contacting us on our UK number, which is 079 39 641 958. You can call, text, and use WhatsApp. And if you're outside of UK, it is 0044 79 39 641 958. Again, you can call, text, or use WhatsApp. I'm going to begin with what is the Grail message? The Grail message in the light of truth by Abrushin is a spiritual knowledge of life. It offers an explanation of the world, a picture of creation on the basis of natural laws. Its lectures contain valuable basic elements as a help in life, for through the knowledge mediated, the reader is again brought closer to life and led back to God. The Grail message deals with important fundamental questions of life by explaining in a clear and logical way the automatic working of the laws of nature, the whole weaving of creation, allowing every process to be recognized and thereby the purpose of our whole life. It is directed at the individual and speaks to the innate experiences of the human being, their strengths and weaknesses. Thus, every reader has the opportunity to discover, through the intuitive perception, if what is stated is the truth. Combining with matter-of-fact reasoning, a complete world picture arises, where there is no separation between the visible world and the great world beyond the five senses, nor any separation between scientific and religious striving for knowledge. I'd like to give you a couple of quotes from the author of the Grail message, Abrushin. The hearer and reader of my lectures should always work within himself, keenly probing and building bridges from one lecture to the other, as well as out into the great and small world happenings. Only then will he be able to understand the Grail message and find that it gradually shapes itself into one complete whole without leaving any gaps. Again and again in all the happenings, the reader will come back to the basic features. He can explain everything without having to change even one single sentence. The word of the Grail message lives, so that it permits only those people who really carry the honest desire in their souls to find abundantly. All else is automatically rejected by it. For the arrogant and those who seek superficially, the message will remain the book with 7 seals. And I'd like to give you one more quote from the author. I wish to fill the gaps which have so far always remained unanswered in the souls of men, and which never leave any serious thinker in peace, if he earnestly seeks for the truth. So, dear listeners, just to remind you, the topic we're discussing tonight is human nature and behavior. You're welcome to join us with any questions or comments by contacting us on our UK number, which is 079 39 641 958. Again, you can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And if you're outside of UK, it is 0044 79 39 641 958. Again, you can call, text, or use WhatsApp. Gregory, as you know, I like to look up the meaning of the words in the topic in the dictionary. And I know the words are not that difficult, but I thought I would still, see what the dictionary says. So the first word is human. And it says in the dictionary, relating to or characteristic of humankind. And the example they give is the human body, the complex nature. Oh, another one is the complex nature of the human mind. So, Gregory, is that, I know it might be a silly question, but I just want to ask anyway, is this a good definition for our discussion?
Well, Frank, that definition is referring to itself. So
Right.
it hasn't explained anything.
Okay.
Because it's talking of humankind or mankind. So it's referring to itself in the two examples you gave. Therefore, that may not be used because it hasn't explicitly, discussed what human is. It must be discussed with relation to other things which are perceptible to us.
Thank you for this answer, Gregory. So I think without further ado, I will have to just ask you, can you please tell us what is a human being? I know this again, as you say, compare it with others.
The expressions you use is human. You did not say human being.
Yes, well, okay, I'm just equating the word human as a human being. So is that a mistake?
Because with that which is referred to as a human being, or which generally referred to as human, must be that which is capable of awareness, of consciousness, and of self-consciousness. And it is the innate qualities or capabilities that is being referred to in this particular instance.
Thank you for that answer there, Gregory. Are we talking about human being with only, let's say, its ability, or also, what I mean by the, just to be clear, looking, for example, consciousness. So with something physical. So are we not looking at are we looking only, Gregory, at the non-earthly human ability, or are we also looking at the earthly human ability?
Actually, both.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's what I was hoping as well. Thank you for that. Right. Okay. So let's continue with the rest of the title or the topic. So the topic tonight, listeners, is human nature and behavior. So we've covered the word human. Now we're going to move to the word nature. So in the dictionary, it says the meaning of nature, that is, the phenomena of the physical world collectively including plants, animals, the landscape, and other features and products of the earth, as opposed to humans or human creations. And they give an example, the breathtaking beauty of nature. So, Gregory, it looks like everything that is non-human on this earth is supposed to be nature. Is that a right definition for nature?
Again, you find that some of these definitions, which refer to themselves, sometimes are not that consistent, in the sense that you have a picture which is painted, but the picture has gray areas which is not very clear. That is what the dictionary does in these particular instances. For is referring to nature. That pointer to nature, that pointer sort of gives a picture of that which is animated. And strictly speaking, the human being, the human body, is a part of nature. It cannot be separated, because through evolution, the human body is what it is right now. It came through evolution in nature. So one should not exclude the human body from nature here on earth. One cannot talk of the human body on the moon or in the sun, because the possibilities for it to be there do not exist. Whilst here, one can talk of nature with respect or with a reference to the human personality that is here on earth. So with nature, one is looking at a container that is used for experiencing at a particular level, here in the first instance, on the earthly level. That container is tuned to the environment.
Right. Thank you for that, agree. But I would say there's quite a bit you've said there, and we're just going to go deeper into that. And there's another meaning of nature, because just to repeat to the listeners, the topic for tonight is human nature and behavior, and we're talking human nature rather than the non-human nature, you can say. So, and yet human being, you have said, are part of nature or come through nature. So, but I think in the context of tonight's discussion, we specifically, there are certain type of human beings have a certain nature, and that is what we're going to explore. And I'm going to actually move on to the next definition, which may be more helpful for the discussion for tonight. And so the other meaning they have given in the dictionary for nature is the basic or inherent features, character, or qualities of something. So, in fact, they give another example of it, or another meaning of it, which I think is even better. The innate or essential qualities or character of a person or animal. What do you say about that one, Gregory?
Again, the dictionary is only able to discuss that which is perceptible in quotes, in nature. or perceptible within the given senses, five senses of the human personality. What is able to use to receive or to radiate. So you find this context which it is describing, and that context is nature. So when nature is being referred to, is a particular context in which there are certain features, certain properties that are that exist in that particular context. In this particular case, the qualities or the properties of that which is human.
Thank you for this explanation there, Gregory. We're going, as we're going to explore further in the show, we will definitely, get specific about these things so things become clearer. So I'm going to just continue like that. Yeah, because examples will help with this type of, understanding. Now, the next word in the topic and the last word is behavior. And the meaning given in the dictionary there, it's the way in which one acts or conducts oneself, especially towards others. Actually, yes, there are two meanings given. This is the first one, so I'll just repeat that. The way in which one acts or conducts oneself, especially towards others. And they give an example here in some sentences. He will vouch for her good behavior. So, Gregory, sorry. How's that meaning?
Sadly, that turns out to be very narrow. It's because you find that such example as is given doesn't go to the essence of behavior. Behavior is an activity. And so when that word act, that is to some extent precise. But there must be a continuous activity that is observed. So behavior and activity in a certain context, that's most likely is what is referred to.
Thank you, Gregory, for expanding that so that giving the context, which of course makes it clearer. So that's good. I think I'm going to leave it. There was a second meaning, but it was so similar. I'm going to leave that one. So we will continue now. What I want to ask you next, Gregory, is human nature inherently good? So, yeah, are we human beings, Gregory, are inherently good? Or nature is good?
Those are two different questions you have posed. With the one you mentioned is human nature, is it inherently good?
Yes.
Then one must first consider human nature. To consider human, then there are qualities which are attached to being human as compared to that which is not human. That which is human, the inherent quality which is tied or which is linked to the capabilities or the abilities, those inherent qualities one may refer to as intuitively as spiritual qualities, as compared to plants that are static or to animals. So with human, the picture that one should hold intuitively is that of the spirit, the capabilities of the spirit, which capabilities need to be cultivated. In this particular case, when it is referred to as human nature, it gives the impression of these capabilities within the realm of a particular sphere, within the container which is referred to nature. How does the human personality exhibit its innate qualities or capabilities within nature? That is what one is likely to consider as, say, human nature when taken together.
Thank you very much, Gregory, for this answer. And again, the picture you painted there. So you're giving that human nature is spiritual nature, and it has capabilities which it exhibits in nature. Let's say environment, which is, you can say, this physical world, and also let's call it non-physical world, the beyond for now. So it has the spiritual qualities it has. It exhibits them in this physical world and also in the beyond. So that is how we can make, you could say, a starting point and a foundation of the for our understanding. So now, Gregory, my original question was: is human nature inherently good? So these spiritual.
Thanks for that part. My
Yes.
error, I did only not go into.
Yes.
The solution to that, which should be self-consistent, is that the innate capabilities, which innate capabilities must have been placed there by the Creator, that grants the human personality the freedom of choice and the power to be in motion, to carry out, to experience in the experiencing, and the will that has made it possible for the human being to come into existence with those innate features and capabilities. That must be in accordance with the will that granted that possibility. Therefore, it must be good. Neutral, one may say, but it must be good in the sense that it brings benefits to the personality when used rightly. For if it were not inherently good, it would not bring benefit to the personality, that personality would have ceased to exist as if it never came into existence initially. So, intrinsically, the human nature, being neutral in making use of its innate abilities, is good.
Thank you so much, Gregory. You made very, can you say, big point there. That let's say this abilities or capabilities are actually neutral, but if it is applied, you could say, in a good way, if I can use the word good in quotes for now, it will have beneficial results for the person who is, doing that good. So it'll have beneficial effect from that. So you could say the abilities are actually neutral, but they can have a good effect, or you could say a bad effect, or evil even, according to how it is used. So this is what I think is the point here. So if you say, oh, is the human being or human nature inherently good? You could say, yes, that is how it is. Let's say if it follows, I think you said the will of the creator, if it executes the will of the creator, then it will have the good effect, the beneficial effect. And if it doesn't do that, opposite of that, then of course we didn't go into that, but it can't be good then. I think that is the understanding. Again, we will look at this a bit more now. Now, Gregory, in pretty much every radio show we do, we always mention the laws of nature or laws of creation. And we've already talked about human beings have come through nature. They're part of nature and they've come through nature into existence through nature. So I just wanted to, as a comparison, you can say, we can just look at nature. Is that also inherently good? I'm talking now not human nature. I'm talking about, let's say, the non-human nature. Is that inherently good? Just as a comparison. What do you say on that, Greg?
Nature in itself is inherently good and is continually good because that gave rise to nature swings unconditionally within the will that granted nature to come into existence. And since that will is inherently good, therefore that which came into existence through that will is good. If there are any errors, then it is those who live in nature that would have brought those errors in it, or that which is not good in it.
Thank you so much for that, Gregory. Now, suddenly in my mind, what came to me from what you were just saying there, it seems then somehow nature is perfect and humans are not perfect. It seems like that from what you just said there, because the nature, you say, is always doing good, but the human being is capable of good and bad. So there's some difference there. Is that a difference there? That the nature is perfect and the human is not perfect?
First, one must have the concept of perfect, complete. And that which is complete is what is referred to as being perfect. It doesn't require any other for it to exist. In this particular case, when nature is referred to, the laws that maintain nature, these laws themselves do not change because they are complete and therefore perfect. One cannot say nature itself is perfect. Why? Because in nature there are weavings. So if you have weavings which are not complete, which are evil, you will not put that blame on nature, but on those who have woven evil inside nature. However, the laws that help in the maintenance and continuity of nature, it is these laws themselves that are perfect, which laws have come into existence through the will of the Creator. These laws have been in existence from the beginning of creation, and they have remained the same. So that these laws now are applicable within this container, within this sphere called nature, in which the human personality is granted the opportunity to weave there, that they have woven that which is not of benefit, is not the fault of nature, but the fault of those who are not yet matured to understand that that which they themselves have woven will not bring them benefit which is upbuilding, but subsequently will lead to entanglement and possibly to self-destruction. So one may not say that nature is at fault or nature is not perfect. It is those who live in it that have exhibited in their ignorance of the laws of nature, they have woven caricatures, which caricatures now in reciprocal activity returns to strike them adversely.
Thank you very much, Gregory, again for your answer there, being very specific and clear about nature and the weaving of that is happening with nature, and people or beings that are behind, who are weaving. It's like, you hear it in the news. Who is to blame for this happening? Who is to blame for that happening? They're always looking for someone to blame, and then you're thinking, is it the human being here that is to blame, or normally it's a person A or person B, or government A or government or the people or something. They're looking for something like this. So what you're pointing to, Gregory, somebody has to do the action for there to be a reaction. It's not the reaction that is you could say faulty. It's what the person who does the action, or person or beings or whoever it is is what is causing for that either to be good or bad, the result to be good or bad. So this clarity is really necessary when we are looking at these matters. So we'll continue further on this in a moment. I just want to let the listeners know you're listening to Bless Radio. It's the Tuesday evening spiritual discussion program. And the aim of the show is to introduce you to the spiritual knowledge in the light of truth, the Grail message, by Abdrusheen. If you wish to know more about the Grail message or want to get a copy of the Grail message for yourself, then you can go to this website, which is www.grailmessage.com. I'll spell that, www.grail, Grail, message, MESSAGE.com. And I wanted to let you know that this Sunday coming, those of you who are in UK or let's say in the west of London, in a town called Aylesbury, or actually a village next to Aylesbury called Whitchurch, we are holding an open day. Sorry, not Sunday, it's Saturday. I'm so sorry. I made a mistake there. The open day is on Saturday, the 26th of August, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And I just want to give you the address, and excuse me for just looking that up. 1 second for that. Apologies. Yes, it is Legion Hall, Legion, Legion Hall, and it's on Oving Road. That's Oving Road, Whitchurch. And the postcode there is HPP. I think I have to check that again. Excuse me for that. Just give me a second to make sure. HP 22 4JF. So yes, that's an open day where you can come and see the Grail Center there, and of course look at the Grail message as well. And you know, if you have any questions, you can of course ask them there too. So that's this coming Saturday, the 26th of August, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And of course, for tonight, we are discussing the topic of human nature and behavior. Human nature and behavior. If you have any questions or any comments, you can contact us on our UK number, which is 07939 641 958. You can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And if you're outside of UK, it is 0044 79 39 641 958. Again, you can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And we are broadcasting on blessradio1.com/home. There's a change. The existing website is under reconstruction, and so I am aware that we're not able to broadcast on the original website. So please note this change. It's blessradio1. That's the number 1.com/home. And you can also listen to us on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and type in the search box, Bless Radio 1. Again, that's the number 1, space, live stream. That's for the live show, which is from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. UK time on Tuesdays. And you can listen to the recording of this show, which is the next day, also on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and type in the search box, Bless Radio 1, again the number 1 there, space, Grail message, space, the topic of the show, which tonight is human nature and behavior. And of course, you can listen to the recordings of our previous shows also on YouTube. Thirdly, we are broadcasting on Zeno, that's ZENO. Excuse me, I lost the place there. Just a second. Yeah, Sorry about that. I just want to confirm that. Yes, it's Zeno, that's ZENO.FM / Bless Radio 1, the number 1 again. Gregory, we have been exploring this, human nature and behavior, and let's say we've been, you could say, working out the context in which you could say the human beings express themselves, and where they have their activity, which is of course the earth, and also in the beyond, where but first we were looking at what is really the human nature, and we said that's really the nature is spiritual, or it has the spiritual with capabilities, certain capabilities, which we exhibit in our actions, So, and then we talked about, is that inherently good or not? And we recognize the capabilities are all neutral. It's just the way we apply it. If we apply it, let's say, in accordance with the will of the Creator, then we would have the good fruit. If not, it would be, you could say, the bad fruit, so or evil. And that's in a simplistic way we can look at it. But I really want to explore now how we act. Is there certain, you could say, environment or stimuli that makes us act in a particular way? We talked about this is our human nature and behavior. So how do we behave in certain situations? So let me look at one such thing, Gregory. So what I'm going to ask now, Gregory, is do we need an incentive to act in a particular way? For example, again, I'm looking at the earthly activity at the moment, which is to say, if people are offering us money or material benefit, we would act in that way, attracted by where the money is, let's say, where rather than where there isn't money. You could say, I know it's quite a contrast, but something like that. Is there something that makes us act for a certain, our own, you could say, material benefit? And can I add to that, Gregory, another question? People say, what's in it for me? So can I ask you, Gregory, is that how we operate as human beings? That we look at a situation and say, what's in it for me? Is there some meaning some, usually in a material or financial benefit? That's, or it could be some other benefit as well. But that's what I want to ask, Gregory. Is that how we see the situation and act according to that situation?
Each personality responds to challenges in different ways depending on its concepts, depending on the concepts it had formed gross materially, depending on the concept it holds in his thoughts, depending on the concept it holds intuitively. The intuitive concepts deal with that which is of spirit. The concept we hold in our thoughts are narrower, and its domain is within the thoughts, which thoughts are given out by fellow human personalities here on earth. So we have, on the one hand, intuitive concepts. On the other hand, we have thoughts, concepts, and finally, gross material concepts through which many of our activities are constructed. There are many who prefer to perceive things only in the gross material way. They have not bothered to give it a thought or to give it an intuition, that means to perceive intuitively. So their perceptions only lie in the gross material. And therefore, even within that scenario, only that which may enhance their gross material standing, whether that enhancement is of benefit to others or not, is immaterial to them. That means only the selfish path is considered to the detriment of others. And there are many who hold these concepts and hold these views. There are others who have the material things but are not so much attached to them, only seeing that these so-called material things are only tools to be used here on earth in accordance with the will that made it possible for these material things to also get to them. So you must, in all cases, consider the individual, how he or she stands, how he or she stands in relation with the laws of nature, the laws of creation, through which he himself has evolved from an unconscious state to the present state in which he or she is. Moreover, the benefits which has accrued to it through the possibilities that has been placed within this realm of nature for him or her to experience. And these benefits have been so much profound that it is taken for granted. So it is not a matter of comparing one to another, but through their views, how are they able to stand just like others, just as he himself or herself has come to experience, so also are others. Just as he himself must proceed in such a way that he does not want to be entangled to do anybody any harm, so also are others. So with this kept in mind, the answer to the conundrum becomes very clear, that each personality is free to go out there to experience. But in the process of experiencing, They should not weave into nature threads which will be obstacles not only to themselves but also to others, just as others will not weave threads which will be obstacles to themselves and this other person. So it becomes very clear how these things should be. The question then comes back, how we make use of the gift of free will which the human personality is endowed. It is the how we make use of it that produces the threads, which threads subsequently will be of benefit or not of benefit.
Thank you again very much, Gregory, for your answer and picture that you painted there. What I heard there is, again, it's like this is the world we are living in, and as and how you apply yourself as a human being, the direction you take, whether it's, first of all, you have the free will to choose the direction you take, and it's not about like really an incentive. The world is sort of, the opportunities are just there, and you can just choose A, B, C, D, E. It's not like, oh, this is one way to get something or that way to get something. It's just a massive world out there of opportunity, and you pick a direction or make a decision in one way, and there obviously will have to be an outcome, whichever way you go, the path you take, it'll lead you somewhere. And so whichever choice you make, it will lead to the, let's say, like benefit or disbenefit, if I can say like that, according to your choice. So it's not about having an advantage, trying to gain an advantage over another person, or there's, let's say, plenty of opportunity for each person to make their choice and reap and how they apply themselves, dedicatedly, with the full effort. They'll get the reward according to that, not oh, I need an incentive, money, whatever benefit or self-interest that we might think of it like that. Oh, there must be, that is the reason why I'm going for this particular route. It's just you make a choice. I go A, B, C, D, or E, and then you get the fruit of that, what you do. So thank you for this picture that you've shown to us, Gregory. Just let me go to another angle now, Gregory. Let's say, so far it's looking very conceptually, but I still want to look at, let's say, a situation where there's not just one person and the world, one person, and let's say one person and another person interacting together. So two people interacting together. And in this case, Gregory, I want to say, let's say person A feels wronged by person B. Let's say person B did something to person A, which person A didn't like, and then now person A decides to give them the silent treatment. They're like sulking. Just in case somebody doesn't know what is sulking, is this being silent, morose, bad-tempered, out of annoyance or disappointment. So what that means is, now the two let's call them the A and B were friends, or are friends,
but something happened that where B did something bad, so-called bad, to the A, and now A wants to disconnect with that with that B, person B, through this silent treatment. Now, what I want to ask there, Gregory, I'm sure there's a reason why that people react the way they do react, you know. Something happens and then they react. But my question on this particular situation is, and just so in this case, I gave the example of the silent treatment, and then this person who is being treated with silence is now feeling disconnected with A. Is is thinking, oh, we could talk before, and now suddenly the person doesn't want to talk with me. Whatever has happened, it feels very strange. So my question there, Gregory, is in this situation, does that way of acting by A, which is giving the silent treatment, is that helping anybody? And if not, what is the better way? What would be the better way?
In your scenario that you've painted, very sadly, it is one-sided. Most of the time, many only consider the outermost ramification, what lies behind it, the motives behind these things are not considered. What you yourself have related in this particular scenario, the motives of the participants were not considered. Which motives could be of benefit or not of benefit. Therefore, what scenario or the scenario you have painted hasn't considered or has left out the motive, and it is the motives that are the lever to determine the reciprocal activities in any set of activities, in any scenario, or in any category of activities. It is the motive which is driven sometimes by one's thoughts or by one's intuition. But the scenario did not consider the motives in thoughts or in intuitions. If the motives are of benefit, then the lever, the reciprocal activities will bring benefit either gross materially or in thoughts or in spirit. If the motives are not of benefit, are not of upbuilding, then gross materially, which is more of a precipitation of the effects of these motives, become not of benefit, and therefore one cannot even give an interpretation as to be how we should be. The only thing that anyone may wish for, or the advice that one may wish for, is to ensure that the motives behind many an activity is pure. pure in the sense that it resonates with one's thoughts, it resonates with one's intuition in such a way as to be of upbuilding, to bring benefit to person A or person B, to bring benefit not only in thoughts but also in spirit. The benefits in thoughts and in spirit are more of upbuilding than the benefits which may accrue as sin gross materially. Why? Because you may have the scenario where one person, could be A or B, is defending himself or herself vigorously in such a way that it might appear harsh to an observer. Whereas such vigorous defense may be, or most likely, is of spiritual benefit to ensure that either party do not proceed along directions which subsequently will lead to catastrophe. It could be that such defense, such aggressive defense, could be such that it leads the other party to become alert, to become vigilant. So, most of the time, many a thing seen gross materially is not rightly understood before it is condemned. It is similar to Hosanna today and tomorrow crucify. That is the herd mentality which many hold. Very quick to say something or to criticize superciliously that which they have no knowledge about. However, since the question is how should one behave, then it becomes very simple that in one's behavior, one should strive to ensure that the motives, the intuitive motive, the motive in thoughts, and even in gross material activity is of benefit not only to person A, but also to person B, even if person A or person B has not yet realized it.
Thank you very much, Gregory, for your answer to that scenario I painted. There's a lot to consider there, so thank you for that. Dear listeners, you're listening to Bless Radio. It's the Tuesday evening spiritual discussion program from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. UK time. The aim of the show is to introduce you to the spiritual knowledge in the light of truth, the Grail message by Uprushin. If you'd like to know more about the Grail message or want to get a copy of the Grail message for yourself, then you can go to this website, which is www.grailmessage.com. I'll spell that. www.grail, Grail, message, message.com. And I want to let you know that this coming Saturday, 26th of August, if you're happen to be near, well, it's not exactly London, but it's outside London. It's actually a town called Aylesbury, and in a village near Aylesbury called Whitchurch, we are holding an open day, which is to introduce the Grail Center that is open there. And of course, anybody who wants to know about the Grail message is welcome there as well. And it's happening, as I said, this Saturday, 26th of August, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And the place is called Legion Hall, Legion Hall, and it's on Oving Road, Oving Road, Whitchurch, and the postcode there is HP 22 4JF. If you would like to know, have any more information, you can contact me on our normal number. I'll just say it quickly: 079 39 641 958. You can always call, text, or use WhatsApp. And I want to let you know, for today's show, the discussion is on the topic of human nature and behavior. Human nature and behavior. If you have any questions or comments, you can contact us on the UK number, which is 079 39 641 958. Again, you can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And if you're outside of UK, it is 0044 79 39 641 958. You can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And we are broadcasting on, well, this is a change to our normal website, which is under reconstruction. So if you can please make note of this address, which is www.blessradio1, that's the number 1, /home. And you can also listen to us on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and type in the search box, Bless Radio 1, the number 1 again, space live stream. That's we are live from Tuesdays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Otherwise, you can listen to the recording, which is the next day. Also on YouTube, go to youtube.com and type in the search box, Bless Radio 1, that's the number 1 again, space Grail message, space the topic of the show, which tonight is human nature and behavior. And of course, you can listen to our previous shows also on YouTube. Thirdly, we are broadcasting on Zeno, that's ZENO.FM /Bless Radio 1. That's the number 1 again. Now, Gregory, in the UK, we've had some headline news for the last few days. Basically, a nurse called Lucy Letby has been convicted of killing or murdering 7. She's, as I said, she's a hospital nurse looking after babies who need extra help, and she's been convicted of murdering 7 babies. An attempted murder, I believe, is also another 7 babies at this Countess of Chester Hospital, and she's denied the murder, and it's been quite a obviously emotional case, and people have been wondering how come, because obviously she couldn't do it without other people's some sort of awareness somehow, or there would have been some thinking that this is not normal here, what's been happening. And it seems that doctors who were questioning that she's doing something, they were not being listened to, and instead they were even told to At one point, when the lady made a complaint about it, the nurse, they had to even apologize to her. So it seems the thing is, when there's a crime being done, sometimes it seems, yes, people can have different views, but people not even trying to find the truth. They're more, it seemed in one case, the manager were looking more to protect the reputation of their hospital uh, rather than even worrying about the safety of the babies or the effect on the parents and so on and so on. And and you're supposed to be working together. So it was quite, you could say, shocking and disturbing, events going on. And so, although it looked on the surface, it looks like, oh yes, one person is committing a crime, but so many people around have been, concerned and wanting to make actions, but it's not like they who are capable in their position to do that. It's only somebody else. So, and until everybody aligns or they come to the same conclusion, only then things move forward. But by that time, more murders have taken place. So this is what I'm pointing to, Gregory, here. Look at the way the human, you could say, behavior is. Uh, they want to protect, I don't know, their reputation. And then human life seems to be secondary. Um, you know, I mean, there have, let's say, 20 questions you can easily ask about this matter. So let me start with one of them. With this sort of situation, Gregory, how can, it's even difficult for me to think of the question exactly what I want to ask here. What should be the priority, Gregory? Let me say it like this. Human life, safety, or reputation. I mean, how do we act in the right way in the behavior in this sort of situation?
Well, the human personality has come to experience, and in the process of experiencing here on earth, it should be protected. It means it should be granted security for you to experience whether that person is of an institution or not. So it doesn't require any rocket science to know that everyone wishes to be. The challenge has been, how is it to be? And again, the answer lies in, very simply, how you want others to be helpful to you, you yourself, in making such demands, must provide the capability to be helpful to others. That is the scenario of one for all and all for one. That has been the bedrock of the institutions, or should be the bedrock of the institutions that men establish here on earth for themselves. And surely that must be the basis or the bedrock of the health sector, which provide health services through fellow human personalities who work within the health sector. So it is nothing to to think about. That health sector deals with the welfare of the physical body, the welfare of the bodies that the human personalities need to use here on earth. So it must be protected by those who subsist in it or who live in it in providing beneficial services. Anything which lies outside it is not of benefit.
Thank you very much for this answer there, Gregory. I mean, as I said, this news has been making headline for a few days now in UK, and people are saying, oh, there's a toxic culture, you know, in NHS. Whenever somebody wants to whistleblow, you know, tell the truth, something, let's say bad things are happening, people don't want to hear that, in the managers especially, because not only that it causes obviously bad reputation, as we already mentioned, but you know, it means serious consequences for them, what they need to do about it, and so on. So what I'm trying to say, Gregory, there seems to be a reluctance to listen. Of course, people do not know for sure. It is some people, let's say some people say, oh, we think it's this way. Others are unsure. They don't know if it's true or not, because they're not directly involved as well. And it is them who are going to make decisions, managers, because they're not dealing with their staff in that way, like the doctors and so on, and other fellow nurses in this particular case. So you can sort of understand, when you are not directly involved, you will not assume the worst situation. You'll think, oh, no, so it can't be like this, because it's too shocking to believe it can be like this. But then those who are seeing the facts, you could say, are saying, no, something's going on here. But we are not the ones who can make the decision. We can only inform the manager. So they said this, that's what I'm saying, pointing to this so-called toxic culture, where you try to defend and defend and defend until it's over time it becomes undefendable. And then you have to fall over and say, okay, we better call in the police to investigate. So my question there, Gregory, is, yeah, I mean, you said all for one and one for all. Maybe that is the motto they need to have, you know, rather than, you know, just trying to have a set position, you know. So let me just think what I can say about this. Yeah, maybe Gregory, you know, to face the truth, it's maybe it's too hard for people. Is that the situation, Gregory? People find it hard to accept the truth, when especially, let's say, maybe shocking truth, you know. Is it difficult when there's a difficult situation? You know, I mean, it's easy to say all for one and one for all, but when it's having to deal with difficult matters, maybe the truth is not easy to handle. So is there something, again, inherently with human beings where they don't seem to be able to act in the right way?
When expressions as you yourself have put forward are considered, it is the facts which many do not wish to handle. The truth in itself, whether human personalities are aware of it or not, that truth has always been standing. The truth is the framework. So only through the framework of the truth, or by framework one is referring to the laws of nature, the laws of creation, was the human personality, or is the human personality, granted the opportunity to weave in this part of gross matter, which we call the earth, and also to put up institutions such as the health service. So every human personality who is permitted to walk within these structures, this institution, is aware. However, what many refuse or are too cowardly to deal with is basically the responsibilities that have accrued from the decisions they have taken to work in these institutions, which institution is basically set up to provide service not for one, but for all. So, when, like you yourself reported, people cannot handle it, does it mean, therefore, that there should be restriction of people to benefit from these structures which have been put in place? It is unthinkable. People have their challenges. Challenges which are gross material challenges, challenges in their thoughts, and challenges in their intuitions. Sometimes, many a behavior, the expression of one's thoughts, or the expression, which one may call an impression on our thoughts, and which our thoughts have an impression on our physical behavior. These motives, what lies behind it, are not easily visible to many until much later. And sometimes it is that the personality that is involved, that personality has been pushed aside, as in the case of those who suffer so-called mental derangement. That could occur to one person, that could occur to several within the same health institution. So you find that somebody's behavior is as if there is something which you really cannot put your hand to, that there is the exposure of double personalities. And it may come out in such a subtle way, in such a way that even the health institutions do not know how to handle it. It becomes a conundrum. They are in a quandary, not knowing how to act. But because the letter of the law only considers that which is gross material, the expressions of that which is gross material, all their judgments, all their evidence is limited to that. Whereas, when one considers things in accordance with the laws of creation, one will find that there is more to it. It is not one-sided. There will be the scenario in which that personality that has so-called committed atrocities is only the last point that was able to gather the thoughts of others, or the thoughts of others had a strong impression on that personality that either brought in carelessness or deliberate activity, or the personality itself was swept aside. The scenarios are many. What lies behind it varies so much. So, in these matters, it doesn't suffice to say, oh, this one did this one did that. As with any happening, there need to be some silent investigations to ensure that that particular error does not repeat itself. The question is, was it done, all the murders you mentioned, was it done within one day? Was it done within 1 week? Was it done within 1 month? Or was it done within 1 year? When there was these so-called anomalies, was the institution equipped to investigate these errors, these exceptions? These are the questions that should be asked, rather than focusing on one person and making judgments. Lessons must be learned from all sides so that apologies, sooner or later, may be avoided. It is not rocket science. It's a matter of a culture of knowing it is one for all and all for one. Or should it have been that those who live within the institutions of health are not paid for the work they themselves have done? Would that be right? That they have devoted their time to ensuring there's continuity within that institution means they are committed. So things must be looked at from all sides rather than superficially.
Thank you so much, Gregory, for this answer. In this case, they could never find what is the motive or why these murders were taking place, because the person first, she wouldn't admit to any of them, and then there's nothing obvious they could find to. You can only speculate what was the reasoning for the murders, but what was clear from the statistics was the deaths were 4 times higher than the if I can use the word normal, previous rates, So something was going on, and obviously the person was doing it while the others were away. So nobody saw it. But there was still evidence. As I said, the rates of the deaths were 4 times higher than their normal rate, if I can use the word normal, in their history. So it obviously something was not wrong, nor right, and I think they all knew that. The truth is, as I say, is the bitter thing to swallow, and especially when it's not something where you want to hear. But it shows you have to have courage, no matter what it is. You have to have the courage to take the actions, and you must pursue the path to find the truth. So thank you for that, Gregory. Yes, I just want to again remind listeners, you're listening to Bless Radio. It's the Tuesday evening spiritual discussion program from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. UK time. The aim of the show is to introduce you to the spiritual knowledge in the light of truth, the Grail message by Abrushing. And if you wish to know more about the Grail message, or want to get a copy of the Grail message for yourself, you can go to this website, which is www.grailmessage.com. I'll spell that, www.grail, Grail, message, message.com. And listeners, those of you who are, let's say, to the west of London in near Aylesbury, um, there's an open day happening this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at a Grail Center, uh, which is to invite you to come and see the Grail Center, and also a chance to examine the Grail message or and ask any questions there. I just want to let you know the address. So that's just to tell you this is happening this Saturday, 26th of August, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. The address is Legion Hall, Legion Hall, Oving Road, Oving Road, Whitchurch, which is near Aylesbury. The postcode is HP 22 4JF. And if you want any more information, please contact my number, which I also use for the radio show. It is 079 3964 1958. You can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And the topic of discussion for tonight's radio show is human nature and behavior. You're welcome to ask any questions or comments. Again, you can call on this number, which is the UK number, which is 079 3964 1958. You can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And if you're outside of UK, it is 0044 79 39 641 958. Again, you can call, text, or use WhatsApp. And we are broadcasting on, just please note there's a change of the website. It's blessradio1, the number 1.com/home, because the website is under reconstruction, and so this is the address you can get us on. So it's blessradio1, the number 1.com/home. You can also listen to us on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and type in the search box Bless Radio 1, that's the number 1 again, space live stream. That's for the live show, which is on Tuesdays 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And you can listen to the recording of this show also on YouTube the next day. Go to again youtube.com and type in the search box Bless Radio 1, the number 1 again, space Grail message, space the topic of the show, which tonight is human nature and behavior. And of course, you can listen to our previous shows also on YouTube. Thirdly, we are broadcasting on Zeno, that's ZENO.FM/Bless Radio 1. That's the number 1. Now, Gregory, when a person harms another, is it better for the party that is hurt to just move on by forgiving and forgetting? Forgiving may be achievable, but to forget seems harder, especially when sometimes later, a similar incident might occur. And let me go say that one first. I have another question on that. So, like I just repeat that if one person harms another, Gregory, is it better for the person who's been hurt to, forgive and forget? As I say, forgiving may be achievable, but the forgetting may not be so easy, especially when something might happen later. Similar might happen later. So, yeah.
The question that you have put forward, you must at the same time consider whether it is of benefit to the person who has suffered the harm when he or she forgets. In that case, if that harm is not registered within his thoughts, within his or her intuition, then he or she has gained nothing from it, for the possibility is there that that same type of harm may revisit in different forms. If the person who has been harmed has not gained from the lesson in his thoughts, in his or her intuition, then the possibility is there that it was not vigilant enough for these scenarios. What has accosted, what has made it possible for such a harm to manifest, such is only possible when there has been a lack of alertness or a lack of vigilance. So, some of these so-called harms are jolts to jolt the human personality to alertness, to vigilance, to be awake. For in the first instance, once the human personality has gained intuitively and in his thoughts in what has happened, that means it is registered, he or she becomes alert, he or she becomes vigilant, he or she considers the scenario thoroughly, albeit intuitively, to ensure that such that has precipitated such a scenario, such a harm, can be prevented. That means that harm has been turned into a benefit. Then ask yourself, of what use when he forgets? It means he or she hasn't learned the lesson.
Thank you so much for that answer, Gregory. Actually, I had a second question, which probably I should have put it before this one, for the same scenario, because as I say, we say forgive and forget somebody, that's one option, but then there is the other option, which is that you want justice, to make the other party pay for their wrong action. Now this, you could say, oh, it could be vengeful, or it could be just justice, you know, that you've done wrong, you've harmed the person, and the person who has been harmed want you to learn a lesson from it, and doesn't want you to repeat it again. So and then so the question is, which way do you go? Because you, as I say, the first one was, oh, forgive and forget, and the second one is, no, I want something to happen here, that this doesn't happen again. You know, and as I say, this could, and you have mentioned a few times already, what we need to look at also is, what is your motive for something? Is it revenge, or is it something for benefit? You know, benefit for both, you could say both sides, not one person, one-sided, you know. So, but I'm thinking, Gregory, how do you make such a decision? Is it how you feel inwardly that, oh, you feel, yeah, how do you make a decision to forgive and forget? Or do you say, no, no, something has to be done here where the person must learn?
Facts are to be considered. The facts, when considered, should be used not only gross materially, but also in thoughts and also intuitively. The lessons learned. For would you say someone has crossed your path and has done you some harm by running across and then you fell, or maybe they hit you and you fell and you were injured, and at the same time you are carrying so much money in your person? Would you prefer to stay behind and establish these facts, or would you prefer to proceed on your path to those places where you wish to spend that money that you have? In the case you have someone in the hospital, you wish to pay a bill, would you prefer to wait behind to establish the facts and demand for justice? So, as with everything, the whole scenario must be considered. Not only the last precipitates, which are only the effects of the thoughts and also the intuitions. So the final effects vary. The key thing must be lessons must be learned. If, however, you have all the time in the world and you wish to establish the facts and you wish to bring people to justice, fair enough, that is your will. Each person has priorities. So people have to decide which is of priority to them, gross materially, in thoughts, or in spirit. That is a part of one's weaving. That is what each person is granted the free will for, to weigh, to examine, to weigh and examine the whole scenario rather than the last precipitate of a scenario.
Thank you very much, Gregory, for this, let's say, very beautiful, answer that you've given. You really see that you have to look at the big, let's say, yeah, you make your own decision, but you consider the scenario, very well. And then, yes, you can say, okay, this is what I'm willing to do now. So thank you for that. Now, Gregory, I know we talked about motivation and, people's behavior with incentive. We were talking about with regards to incentive. Do you need an incentive to do this or that? But again, I just want to keep looking at the examples we see in the, the real world, as we call it, out there. So, for example, Gregory, we see these top footballers earning millions, or let's say the highest money, and all they're doing is kicking. Well, if you look at it literally, they're just kicking a ball about. They're not really benefiting the world, and whereas we have, let's say, scientists and doctors and such similar people, you can say, who are working hard to help other people, and they're not earning as the same, anything similar to that, these footballers, top footballers. So, of course, you could say this is market forces that are determining these things, because football is popular, and that's what the market is willing to pay to this type of, even though it's all for fun. But it seems people value that more than, or the market values that more than others who are, let's say, doing something more serious and more helpful to the humanity. So my question there is, I mean, is this really right? This that is happening, and just to, you could say, because I was listening to another show, radio show today, and somebody said, if these players were being top players were paying a tenth of these wages that they're earning, would they do that? Would they become those footballers? So it's just as a bit of funny thing to say. So Gregory, the question I want to ask really is it right that that people should be valuing these footballers higher than the other professions, which, let's say, give more benefit to humanity?
Football and games may be classified as entertainment. So, as long as generally a lot of value is attached to entertainment, that means human personality has set up institutions where entertainment, whatever format, is of high value. Then they have allocated resources, albeit monetary resources, to that particular entertainment. That is due to the free will of the institutions that have permitted that to be. Just like you have in many institutions where terrible things happen, which institutions are like that of thievery, institutions where many gamble, institutions where there is prostitution. These are institutions that men in their activities have set up for themselves. One-sided institutions which does not consider what is beneficial to the whole spiritually, but consider what is of temporal satisfaction. The question you then ask, is it right? Of course it is right in accordance to they themselves, what they have put down for those fleeting moments. But subsequently, the question should be, is it right? Or of what benefit is it to the personalities spiritually? So, what many have put there that is satisfying to them gross materially, is it of benefit spiritually? That becomes so different, because what is of value spiritually, for instance, is that which helps the spirit to make progress in becoming more aware, in becoming more conscious, in becoming more self-conscious. That is what is of benefit. To become self-conscious in accordance with the laws of creation through which it has evolved from an unconscious spirit seed, spirit gem, towards consciousness and self-consciousness. What resonates with that process is of benefit, because that will enable the human personality to return home to its origin now as a self-conscious, self-aware human personality that can be of benefit to those who are still in the world of matter, to those who are to start anew their own journey. Then ask yourself, these institutions which have been set up here, which of them are of benefit spiritually? Many of them have been set up for fleeting enjoyment, albeit in a very short while. These institutions that have supported smoking, institutions that have supported the destruction of the environment. These are institutions which hold. Are they of benefit? Are they of spiritual value? These are the questions people should ask themselves. Is it then surprising when one kicks the ball and that person is granted so much resources or monetary resources? These are the things each individual must ask themselves. It is not for forums like this to tell them what they must do. But each individual may reflect on that which subsequently, here or hereafter, will bring values, uplifting values to them. So discussions like this are only reminders that there are other ways, that people should consider other ways which are made possible only through the observance of the laws through which they themselves came into creation. For without that, they will spend all the time entangling themselves and therefore finding it very difficult to disentangle and leave when the time comes.
Thank you very much for your answer there, Gregory. I know we come to the end of the show, but I do want to ask one more question, and it's okay if you carry on until the end. And it's quite a different type of question to what we've had so far. So it's about worship. Is going to worship a benefit to the person who attends, or is it for the benefit is to honor the Creator?
That is a very pertinent question. When you said going to worship, which means that one is not already worshiping. Worship has nothing to do with going to. I am going to do something. All right? That is in the future. Whereas worship in itself is an activity. Just as a human personality receives of the radiations that stream in nature, which radiations ensures continuity in nature in producing the nutrients that make it possible for crops to grow and subsequently for these crops to mature, to ripen, and is then used for the maintenance of the physical body, for the maintenance of breathing in and breathing out, for the maintenance and continuity of the human spirit, gross materially, in thoughts and in spirit, in using these streams of radiation aright in accordance with the dictate he or she who receives must make use of it and then pass it on. Which one may also stress that process is the same as one for all and all for one. In engaging in that process, that in itself is worship. So, when the expressions going, I'm going to worship, it means you haven't started. That you find a specific time to start considering the benefits which have accrued to you continually is of no help, because time is lost, which time should be for the enjoyment of every second that is granted to you to mature spiritually, the challenges which have come across your path, that you have awoken and you have learned from these challenges, and therefore you have become more aware than you were yesterday. That appreciation alone is an activity in worship, in granting jubilant thanks for the power that streams through, for the will that granted the possibility for you to partake of these activities. That in itself is worship.
Thank you very much, Gregory, for this, for your answer there. Dear listeners, we've come to the end of the show tonight on the topic of human nature and behavior. Hope you've enjoyed the discussion, and thank you for listening to us. Just want to remind you that this Saturday, 26th of August, if you are, let's say, outside of London in UK, in Aylesbury, there's, if you're able to get there, let's say, this Saturday, there's an open day welcoming you to a Grail Center, which is opened recently. And it's also an opportunity for you to find out about the Grail message. We have our book stand there, and you can ask any questions and so on. So I'm inviting you, if you're able to come there, this Saturday, 26th of August, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. The address is the Legion Hall, Legion, Legion Hall, Oving Road, Oving Road, Whitchurch, Aylesbury, and the postcode there is HP22 4JF. And if you want any information, you can contact me on my number, which is also for this radio show, the same number, our UK number, which is 079 39 641 958. And of course, if you want to know anything more about the Grail message or want to get a copy of the Grail message, I encourage you to go to this website, which is www.grailmessage.com. I'll spell that, www.grail, Grail, message, MESSAGE.com. Gregory, anything you'd like to say to the listeners to say goodbye?
Wishing the listeners a very beautiful week.
Thank you for that. Dear listeners, same from me. We'll be back as usual next Tuesday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. UK time. I wish you also a great week. God bless.